Cannon. It was insane. A kid from a cow town, and now I'm, opening up for Britney Spears. Yeah, I did get crowned the king of thirst traps. When you become famous as a teenager, they don't really give you an instruction manual for what that's gonna be like. I'm Ashley Parker Angel, and this is my E.T. Then and Now.
We're gonna take a little walk down memory lane, dive into our ET vault.
Yes.
So our first clip we're gonna start with is back when we met you for your audition for Making the Band in 2000.
No way.
So we're gonna kick off with our first clip.
Okay, I don't know what to expect.
This is a song I wrote. I keep a picture on my wall, photographs and picture boxes.
Oh, no way. Blast from the past.
I was gonna say, when was the last time you saw this clip?
Years. It's been years. And it's such a time capsule.
Does that take you back to that day, that audition? Can you remember even more clearly what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I was the last person in line for the audition that day, and there were like 1,000 people there. By the time I did that audition, I was starving. I hadn't had any water or food, and Making the Band was really an experiment, which is kind of crazy to think about because you didn't have American Idol or The Voice or any of these shows. Making the Band was the first major reality TV show picked up by a major network, right? Like you always had the MTV shows,
Right.
Real World, etc., but nobody even knew if we would be successful. And so that was my very first audition. I had to borrow $800 for a plane ticket to fly to Las Vegas. So to have your first audition be something like Making the Band, which then spawns O-Town, you sell 10 million albums, almost overnight you have a hit TV show and you have a hit song on the radio. It's like being shot out of a rocket cannon. It was insane.
We have a clip from our very first interview with
Wow.
O-Town, the group.
Wow.
Hopefully people love the show, but maybe they don't, But hopefully they do, and the fact that they do, and we're gonna maybe walk into a supermarket or walk down the road and have people be like, hey, I saw you on TV, is gonna be very strange at first because you can't understand how that feels until it happens to you.
No way. This is mind-boggling. I haven't seen this, I
You
think,
haven't
since
seen
it
this?
aired. How many years ago was this?
This was in 2000, so
I'm aging myself. I've looked at the aging process and decided I'm not gonna participate, but I was a baby.
right.
I was so little then.
How would you sum up and describe your time in O-Town?
It was boy band boot camp on steroids. We were following in the steps of groups like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were already so well established in this movement of boy band mania. And that bubble was already very big. We're up against these, behemoth bands. You had the boy band rivalry, that was a thing. It was like, team sports. Everybody had their boy band, right? You also had 98 Degrees, you had LFO. I mean, this was an amazing time in pop music. So I think what really differentiated us was that we did have a hit TV show, and that really put us on the radar of this incredible music mogul who everybody knows, Clive Davis. We end up being the first act to sign to his new label, J Records, followed by Maroon 5 and then Alicia Keys. And so all of a sudden, these are the kind of things you pinch yourself. You're like, how did that even happen? It's incredible.
What's up, guys? Hey! Britney Spears. You guys may have heard of her.
Yes.
I want to come in here and meet you guys.
A kid from a cow town, and now I'm, opening up for Britney Spears, Madison Square Gardens. I feel like we were very lucky to be at the right place at the right time, and it's something that I celebrate now. It's an incredible part of my journey.
How would you say that your life changed the most during that time?
I was definitely a workaholic. When you become famous as a teenager, they don't really give you an instruction manual for what that's gonna be like. Nowadays artists are taking mental health breaks. For the millennial generation, if you grew up in the 90s, early 2000s, we weren't really talking about that as much, So, we really didn't take any days off. O-Town was 4 years nonstop. You work even more through the holidays. You're traveling all over the world. You're far away from your family. I rolled right out of that and did a solo album on my own. So, ended up several more years in the music industry.
So let's jump ahead. The band reunited in 2013, but you declined to join. What was your thought process when it came to that decision?
I had done 2 years of Hairspray the Musical, playing Link Larkin on Broadway, and I absolutely loved it. And then right when O-Town started to talk about doing the reunion, I was up for Fiyero and the national tour of Wicked. And so ultimately I chose to play Fiyero and Wicked, which then led to doing a year in New York on Broadway as well. It was a tough decision to make. Broadway is actually the hardest gig. More so than being a pop star, more so than being a rock star. Even when you play a show in a city, you get on the bus, you might have the next day off. Broadway is 8 shows a week. It's a grind. It's actually the hardest gig I've ever had in entertainment.
You want the move like Jagger, I've got the move like
I want to go to 2023. We saw you back on TV competing on The Masked Singer.
I was a kid that grew up camping, so I was a giant s'more. Graham cracker body, marshmallow and chocolate melting off of me, fire boots. I had so much fun doing it. That was the last time I performed on stage, and my agent's gonna fire me because since then, I've really pivoted out of entertainment. But after 20 years and you get that bumper sticker of, I did all this already, what's next? I really pivoted into health and well-being full time. I partnered with a world-renowned cardiologist, Dr. David Ryzik, and I created a supplement company in the wellness space, a medical-grade supplement line.
Yes, the 44-year-old who is a father to 20-year-old son Lyric is now all in on his company, High Level Science. So how did you know what you wanted to create to kind of bridge that gap of knowledge that a lot of us have?
I got blood work done. I was into fitness and eating healthy, and I had super high cholesterol, super high blood pressure. Like all my cardiovascular numbers were off. And he told me, here's the things you want to be taking. And we started this dialogue, and I was like, people need to know about this because we think so much about cancer. Heart disease is actually the #1 global killer of both men and women. So we worry so much about cancer. Actually, heart disease affects men and women even more, actually women more than men. So our first product is a heart supplement called Heart, Body, and Mind.
So when was the moment that you realized, I want to prioritize and focus on physical and mental health?
Probably around 25 or 26, I had a quarter-life crisis. I was starring in Hairspray at the time. And, I won't mention names, but you can see those people that grow up in the spotlight young. And the 27 Club is a thing. A lot of people have died early, unfortunately, and I'm really grateful. I had a lot of great people around me dealing with the stress and the pressure of keeping up with an entertainment career. I pivoted into health and wellness and fitness and proper supplementation, understanding how that plays a part, especially in your mental health, right? Because I was someone that was eating what I thought was a perfect diet. Even if you eat, quote, perfectly healthy, you still have to fill in the gaps. We have nutritional deficiencies. That plays a role in your mental and emotional well-being. I was sitting on the 38th floor balcony of my New York apartment. I just thought about jumping off that balcony.
What do you think contributed to your mental health struggles at that time?
It was the pressures of keeping up with an entertainment career, where I was in this pressure cooker, and all my identity at that point in time was completely wrapped up in the external success of being famous at a young age and what people expect of me. And so I'm really grateful too, as a culture, we're starting to talk more about the importance of mental health.
What do you think are the biggest misconceptions about health that people should know?
I think the biggest misconceptions about health is it's not as complicated as you need to make it, right? Like I talk about sleep and eat and move and breathe. I call it the core four. And if you do a little bit in that category each day, you are gonna feel and look years younger than people you grew up with.
How do you feel now?
I feel amazing because I realized after 20 years in entertainment that I could change someone's life for an hour or two as a performer on stage, but through teaching people health and wellness, I could help change their lives forever. This has been the most satisfying, rewarding chapter of my life.
Really? That's a big thing to say.
I feel like I'm helping people, and that's honestly, like when you get to the top of the mountain in your career, like what do you do next? You hand back the things that you've learned. And I used to get people reaching out, say, your music changed my life. And now I get, messages from people saying, I got my blood work done, like my health is improving, my energy is back, my focus is back, I sleep better at night. Thank you so much. And so being an advocate in the health and wellness space, and also the wellness industry as a whole, we know so much more than our parents and grandparents did. That's why we're aging differently too, right? 40 today is not what 40 was years ago. 40 is the new 20, 50 is the new 30,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I hope to be a walking billboard of looking and feeling your best in each decade. You know what I mean?
And I love that you wrote on your Instagram bio that you're an ex-teen heartthrob, but also the fans are loving the thirst trap post.
I really like it.
Yeah, I did get crowned the king of thirst traps by BuzzFeed or somebody. I rolled with it. I try to hook people in visually, but then give them value in the captions and teach people. Really,
Exactly.
I call it infotainment.
Could we ever see you back on TV in some capacity, maybe even doing like a health and wellness show?
If I were to pop back up on TV again, it would definitely be in that category.
And is there any desire to return to music? Do you miss that performing aspect at all?
I think there's always going to be a performer inside of me, but fortunately now we have social media, which is a great stage for that. I feel like probably my music days are behind me, but with Wicked, I always said maybe someday I'll come back and play the wizard. Maybe someday.
Looking back on the clips that we shared and seeing where you are now, what would you tell your younger self just getting started on this wild journey ahead?
You're doing good, dude. Don't stress so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good and it's all gonna work out. We take life so seriously. And so maybe it was also playing Fierro and singing the song Dancing Through Life. You know, those lyrics, dancing through life, I really try to live by that, and I try to have a sense of play in all of it and not take things too seriously.